Hey, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm actually going to demonstrate another recipe from my cookbook today. This was requested by one of my followers, and I actually happen to have all the ingredients, and it's the perfect time actually to fix it because usually artichokes are available during this time. This is a tortiera, also known as in dialect a tiedda or tiella, you might have heard it that way, which is usually means just the name of the baking dish, okay? And it's potatoes that are layered with flavored breadcrumbs and artichokes. And I will show you how we're gonna do all that. So for right now, I'm gonna show you how to prep it, and then I'll cook the artichokes and assemble it. The recipe is in my book on page, what's the page number? I can't read it from here.
259.
Okay, so you can see the ingredients. It's what I have here on the table. Potatoes, artichokes, a lemon, fresh breadcrumbs, parsley, garlic, and then we'll need some little bit of salt, pepper, and olive oil. And there's actually a picture in the book of this dish, so you can get an idea what it's gonna look like. Okay, so let's just prep and then I'll finish up. So 2 pounds of Yukon potatoes. I like to use Yukon potato because these are the closest to what we have in Calabria. In Calabria, Calabria is actually known for its potatoes from the Sila. They're really deep yellow. So this is the closest. So I think you know how to do this in terms of peeling the potatoes. I just wanted to show you how to slice them. I'll just finish this one and I'm just gonna put it in here, okay? And what you wanna do, okay, and you need to wear gloves if you're gonna use a mandolin. And these gloves are great because...
Wrong hand.
Wrong hand? No, this is the hand I use to slice. Anyway, I'm right-handed. Because you literally see, you can run it over it, it doesn't cut you, okay? Because you want these thin. So you want them about 1/8 of an inch, okay? So I'll grab some and I'll show you. So the nice thing about a mandolin, it's quick, of course, and it does them all perfectly even. But it's okay if you don't have a mandolin, okay? Let me take this glove out. You can use your knife, so you can see, you know, what they look like. They're not, you know, paper thin, but the key is the thickness. You want them to be, you know, even, so they cook evenly. But if you need to do them by hand, you can still do this by hand. Just get a knife and, you know, just slice them down, just like that. Just keep those fingers behind, and see, you can do the same, okay?
You're just too good.
Anyway, now if you make them a little thicker, don't worry about it. Just keep in mind that it's going to take you longer to cook them. I like them, as I said, thin, but you know, some people will make them thicker than this, and that's perfectly fine, okay? So that's for the potatoes. I'll finish them. I'll come back to it. So I just want to talk about the artichokes, the other ingredient that goes in, okay? So ideally for this recipe, you want these baby artichokes, okay? If you can find them. These are available here in California. So these are the ones that kind of shoot on the side. They're the little ones that never make it. You know, the big stalk will make the big one at the top, and these are the ones that are on the side and never get to see as much sun, so they never get really big. But these are the ones you want. And what you need to do, okay, you need to remove all the outer leaves until you get to where it's yellow, okay, like that, okay? And then what I do is I trim it, the ends a little bit, and then I cut the top about 1/2 inch, and I dump it in here. And that water, I already put some lemon juice, but what you want to do is get some cold water and then squirt a lemon in there, okay? This will prevent from browning, okay? I'll do one more, okay? So be ruthless when you do this, okay? Anytime you cook, you know, these artichokes, you need to remove all the outer leaves and get to where, see, you see the yellow. These are not the best, I would say, because who knows when they were harvested, and I've had them already for about 3 days, okay? And one thing you can do is sort of rub it with that lemon that you squirted, okay? And that will help you will help to prevent from browning. Then what you do, okay, is cut this in half, okay, like I'm doing, and then slice it in about 1/4 inch, okay, like that. So I'm going to finish prepping all of this, and then I'll show you how we cook it. So in this case, I cook the artichokes. I don't put the artichokes raw because they just don't cook right. But this tortiera, I do it with different vegetables throughout the year. This time of the year, I'll do it with artichokes, and I'll do it with fennel. Fennel, you don't need to cook it. You can just slice it thin and layer it in between in place of the artichokes. You'll see it when I start layering what I do. In the fall, I love it with wild mushrooms. If you can get chanterelles, porcini, I quickly saute them with olive oil, garlic, and I layer in between with that. During the summer, you can do it with tomatoes, you can do it with zucchini, so any vegetables you like. It's more of the layering and also what goes in between, how we do it in Calabria. So what goes in between, I'm gonna prep the last items, and then I'll finish this, I'll cook everything, and then I'll get back to show you. So I have a cup. These are fresh breadcrumbs. You can see they're not the dried powdery ones, okay? So these are made with bread that it's usually a couple of days old, okay? And you just cube it, put it in a blender, and you get the breadcrumbs. What I'm gonna put in here is fresh parsley. So this is 2 tablespoons of fresh parsley that I chopped. This is Italian parsley. I have a little bit left here. You can see it from my garden. I have lots and lots of parsley that grows in the garden. And these lemons are my Meyer lemons. I also have more than I can use. And the other thing that goes in here, it's 2 cloves of garlic, okay? And I like to use the zester to zest my garlic rather than chop, because I don't like bits of garlics. You can see this ends up more like a paste, okay? So when I mix it in here, I don't find the garlic. Now, you can use a garlic press, or if you don't mind garlic, I guess you can chop it, or you can also try to make a paste with a knife. You can do that too. That's what my grandmother did, because she didn't have one of these gadgets. But since we have these gadgets, this is my best friend in the kitchen. I really like him. So what I'm gonna do with this is just mix it. Just go in with my hands until it's all mixed in. Now this simple breadcrumb mixture, okay, I use it in many, many different ways. So once you've learned this, you'll see it. As I demo more recipes, it will show up over and over again in different recipes. You can even, you can top vegetables with it. You can put it on top of fish. It's really great. It's a great base, I guess, to have it. Okay, so I'm gonna finish slicing the potatoes, the artichokes, and then we'll come back. I'll cook the artichokes, and then we'll assemble it. Okay. Okay, we're ready to cook the artichokes. Okay, so I'm gonna put 2 tablespoons of olive oil. Okay, and I'm actually, in the recipe I tell you to drain them, but I'm just going to do this because I'm gonna add some water anyway, so it's okay if I pick up a little bit of water though. Okay, so this I'm going to add, just gonna sort of toss some in the olive oil, and I'm gonna add half a cup of water and a teaspoon of salt to that, and then they're just going to cook for about 10 minutes, okay? So I'm just gonna go ahead, I don't know if you wanna come over, you can see, okay? And I'm gonna add salt, okay? And these are gonna cook uncovered, okay, until all the water is evaporated and they're tender. So it's gonna take about 10 minutes. So I'm just gonna stop here again, otherwise the video will get too long. And then when they're ready, I'll show you how to assemble it. I just wanna show you what the artichokes look like after they've been cooking for about 10 minutes, usually 10-15 minutes, but I want you to taste them. If you need to add a little bit more water, but if you see they're tender, see that? So that's what you want. They're good. So remember what I did? A couple of tablespoons of olive oil, then I put some water and salt, and you know, cook them until they're tender, but typically it takes 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, back to the breadcrumbs. I forgot one of the main ingredients. So remember, it's fresh breadcrumbs, garlic, parsley, and pecorino cheese. Okay, so I think this bowl is a little small. I'm gonna put it in here and put the cheese in. Okay, so this is the mixture that, as I said, I use quite a bit in a lot of different dishes. Okay, you can see what it looks like when it's all mixed, and you saw the garlic that I zested it. It's all over. So, okay, so we're gonna start the assembly. I'm gonna show you the first couple of layers. So get a baking dish, tortiera. This is what it will be called. That's why it's called tortiera, or tiella, as I said, or tieda. So just put a little bit of olive oil on the bottom. Okay. Now you can also sprinkle, if you want it, a little bit of breadcrumbs like that. I didn't tell you to do that in the book, but typically I just start with the potatoes. Okay, so what you want to do is grab the potatoes, and the potatoes, I have them in water because I actually want a little bit of moisture. Okay, otherwise they'll be too dry to cook. But this is what I do. Okay, I just put them right next to each other. I don't know if you can come over it. You can show them to them, overlap, sort of like tiles. Okay, just go right next to each other, and you make a layer of this, and then we're gonna do a layer of breadcrumbs, a layer of the artichokes, and we'll just repeat that, and we'll end with potatoes and breadcrumbs on top.
So how many layers of each?
Yeah, so you end up with 4 layers. So you put in a quarter.
So
Okay.
4 of
Yeah.
potatoes?
Yes,
4
yes.
of those?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
don't talk, please. The artichoke, it's only 2. Okay, so on the potatoes, you sprinkle a little bit of salt. Okay, a little bit of pepper. And a quarter of the breadcrumbs. Okay, so just like this. Okay, and then a drizzle, a little bit of oil, so not even a teaspoon. Okay, you don't want to go too heavy because otherwise I'll end up twirling. Okay, this is the artichoke. I'm just gonna eyeball it half. Okay, which should give you a layer. Okay, see what I'm doing? Now, you know, this is what I had, but if you want to put a few more, you can do that. Okay, we don't put any salt here because remember, I already put salt. We go back with the breadcrumbs, and again, I'm not putting any oil because I used my 2 tablespoons with the artichokes. Okay, and I'm gonna go with the potatoes. Again, same technique as before. Lay them right next to each other. So you would do the same if you use other vegetables, okay? And again, you could do more layers if you want. I usually, with the mushrooms or with the artichokes or the fennel, I do 2 layers of the other ingredients. When I do this with tomatoes, then I tend to do every layer. I do potatoes, tomatoes, onions, oregano. I've done that before, that tortiera. You guys can probably go under my highlights and you'll see it. Okay, so repeat same thing. Just like it's raining, okay? Just a little bit. A bit of this, pepper, breadcrumbs. And I'm gonna put the artichokes, and I'm gonna continue this layering process, okay? So. Okay, so I'll finish it with another layer of breadcrumbs, potatoes, and breadcrumbs. and I'll show you what it looks like when it's ready to go in the oven. Otherwise this video, I think, gets too long and then I have a hard time posting. You can tape, but if it's too long, we might have to cut the step. I'm just continuing the same as I've done before. Okay. I'm gonna do last layer of potatoes. So notice that I am picking up water, okay? You do need that moisture for the potatoes to get, you want the potatoes to be fully cooked. I don't know what's wrong with that one. Okay, and now I'm gonna put them all what I have. So if you have few more potatoes, I would repeat another layer, but I think I'm good. I'm using them all. Yeah, I've got a couple more. Okay. A little more? Oh, a few more. Okay, we're gonna put them all. Okay, so just repeat the same process again. A little bit of salt, pepper, and the rest of the breadcrumbs go on top. Okay. This is it, okay? So the only thing I'm gonna do, pressing it just a little bit, and drizzle. Here you probably want to put more like 2 tablespoons of oil, because you want this to be really nice crust when it's all done. Okay, all done. So this is ready to go in the oven. I'm going to cover it with foil because the potatoes, you know, need to cook. It takes quite a long time to cook this. So I'm going to put it covered with foil for about half an hour, and then I'm going to cover it for another, I can't remember what the time, what I say in the book, if it's another half an hour or so, but I will test it to make sure that the potatoes are fully cooked before I take it out of the oven. Okay, it's ready to come out. It's been beeping. Okay, so this went in at 400 degrees. You can see how beautiful it looks. It's got a nice crust on top. So it went in for half an hour covered with aluminum foil at 400 degrees. And then I took the aluminum foil. I checked it to make sure it was fully cooked. So if it's not fully cooked, you can leave it longer. And then 20 minutes. And it's got nice crust. And I'm just going to let it set for a little bit. And then I'll cut it and I'll take a picture so you can see what it looks like inside. Okay, I'm getting a slice out. I just wanted to show you what it looks like when it's all done. I know it's hard to see it, but I think you get the idea. It is delicious, so I hope you do make it. This is great as a side dish with any meats. So hope you make it and enjoy it.